Hi, my name is Eunice Maina Mburu. I'm the Chief Sales Trainer and Coach at 20X Entrepreneur, also a founder of Bismart Insurance, an online insurance comparison platform, and an author of 2 books, Sell Me This Pen and Entrepreneurship Hits and Misses. Today let's talk about starting a business. Many times I get questions of, I have 50,000 shillings, or I have 500,000 shillings, I have this amount of money, and I want to start a business. And what comes to mind when I get this question, because the person asking definitely really want to start a business. And so the questions in my mind is, why do you want to start a business? What problem are you solving? Who is your target customer? So that question of what business can I do with this amount of money, it's not as easy as saying, go and start selling avocado or go and start selling a particular product, because it depends on a lot of things. Now for me, every time I've started a business, is driven by a need in the market. It's normally driven by where I'm hearing a lot of complaints. I tell people I am one person who loves problems. I love to hear complaints. I love to hear the challenges people are going through, not because I celebrate the challenges they're going through, but because it is in those challenges, it is in those difficulties, in the complaints, in the problems, it's where I see opportunities. And I'll give you an example. When I began Bismart, the online insurance comparison platform, the reason why we began Bismart is not because I had money somewhere and I wanted to start a business. It was this constant complaints that were coming from customers saying, insurance don't care. They don't tell you everything. I have just, it is only, I got a claim, and when I raised the claim is when they were telling me that there was an exclusion, or there was a waiting period, or there's something called excess, all those terms that you get to hear from the insurance. And that was really getting into my nerves, because I was asking myself, what can we do to solve this problem? What can we do to make people understand their insurance before they buy? So for me, Bismart as a company, I didn't start because I actually wanted to, or because I had money somewhere. One thing that I must tell you is that I had a very good job. A job that every Kenyan would envy. I was a country sales manager for microinsurance in a multinational. And so leaving that was purely driven by this burning desire to solve a problem that I could see that existed. And so when I understood the problem, and I believe that when you understand the problem so well, then finding a solution is very easy. It's easier to start with the problem than to start with a solution and then look for a problem to solve with the solution. So for me, I was armed with this complicated problem: is how do I make people understand insurance before they buy? And through that, it's how the idea came. What if we make it a supermarket? Because the idea of a supermarket stood out. There were 2 things actually that stood out. It was the supermarket, whereby you will find different brands of the same thing. So you'll find, if it is bread, you'll find Broadway's, you'll find Festive, you'll find all the different types of bread. But what makes someone go for one brand and leave another one? That is what came to my mind. It is based on taste, preferences, their experience, all that. So I asked, so what if there was a supermarket of insurance? The other thing that inspired me to solve this problem was whenever we're going out of the country for holiday, my husband always asks me to find places where we're going to stay. So actually, I've been the one finding, the air tickets, the hotels we're going to stay, and I use booking.com. And so my experience with booking.com has been very good, and therefore I thought, how about a booking.com of insurance? So that is how I came up with the idea of, let's create a booking.com of insurance, which is also a supermarket of insurance. Basically bringing, say for example, if it's motor insurance, can we have all the motor insurances from the different insurance companies? Can we explain, break down in understandable language, one by one, side by side, so that when a customer sees, okay, this is motor from company X, company Y, company Z, and they see, okay, this one has an excess limit of, say, 5%, this other one has an excess limit of 3%, this other one has an excess limit of 2%. And so when they see that, then they're able to choose based on understanding, based on this, what customers call the fine print, and choose the right one for themselves. So that's what inspired the starting of Bismart. Now, fast forward, after 6 years of business in Bismart, doing it, working at it, then we noted, it was not 6 years, about 5 years, because now Bismart is we are on the 7th year or 6th year, something like that. And so we noted, especially when COVID happened, people started downgrading their covers. So you're having a comprehensive, they go to third party. That's not good for the customer. So we asked, what is the biggest problem? What is happening? Why are they not able to pay? And so at that time, for those who remember, in 2020, I began, initially it was a 14-day sales challenge. a 14 days challenge where people would just wake up and post what they're doing. It was meant to keep people engaged and positive. I didn't see anything in that. And then after that, we started training people on sales for free, just to help them grow their sales so that they're able to afford premium. Again, it just stops at that. But people kept saying, can you help us with sales? Can you come and train us on sales? To be honest with you, I would say the second, or is it the third job, was training job. I would say my first very serious job was a training job. I was employed as a trainer at IAT many years ago. And as a trainer, I had trained in IAT for over 5 years before I resigned. And by the time I was resigning, it was more of a fatigue. I was so tired of training. And so I was like, I don't want to ever do training again. So now when people are asking for this, and to be specific, I have a very close friend of mine who kept telling me, Eunice, you're so good at training. The kind of training people receive out here, you can do better. And I kept telling her, hey, my friend, I'm not getting into training business. I can train for free, but I don't want to get into training as a business. Now, in 2022, after Sales Fest, we have an event that we began when I was launching the Sell Me This Pen book. And after Sales Fest, people are so excited about the training they got, the skills they got on that event. And a number of people came and asked, Eunice, what next? And to be honest, I had no idea what next. And I could see where they were leading to, because some were asking, so do you have training programs? And I'm like, oh, I am not getting into training. So this is one thing I resisted, the longest. And then, Sales Fest is over. And one day, I, I was just, you may not believe this, but I was in the bathroom. I get a lot of ideas in the bathroom. I was in the bathroom, and the whole idea of training came so clear, and I have never seen before. I've never even imagined. It was so clear on how it will flow, how it will scale, which areas we're going to focus on. And for the first time, I said yes, it can be done. Because now I was clear on how scalable the training business can be. All through, even when I left Brita, my friend was telling me, please train. And I had refused completely because I know the fatigue and the burnout that comes with training. And because training is so much giving, you're always giving. And it drains you a lot. But now when I saw it clearly, how it will turn out, how scalable it will be, then I was ready to solve a problem that people were keeping on telling me that, they needed a solution. So my way, how I have always started business is it's driven by need from, the need of the customers. So customers actually determine how our business goes. Interestingly, and so we started training and coaching in 2022, to be specific, 1st of March 2022. That's when we started the 20X Entrepreneur as a business. Now, when I saw how it will be, I actually put it in writing. I always, whenever I get ideas, I subject them to a Canva. The lean Canva model, and I put, the Canva is describing what is the problem. I describe the problem, what is the solution, who is the customer, what is the value proposition, what channels am I going to reach these customers, what are the revenue centers, what are the cost centers, and I did all that within the same day. Now, the most surprising thing that I've seen, we are 1 year and about 3 months, and the most interesting thing that happens is that what I saw that time, customers keep asking for it. Now, one of the things that I know, I didn't want to get into, it was there in the original idea, but I didn't see how it will become. But as we have been training and coaching, business owners come to us and say, hey, Eunice, there are no salespeople in this country. And I'm like, no, but we have them. So over time, as we've been growing, we've started recruiting salespeople on behalf of entrepreneurs. Now, when we recruit, and then they're like, okay, now we don't want you to just recruit. Can you manage them for us? Now, the most surprising thing is that now we have embarked on a pilot project to actually outsource sales management. That was not, that was in the, original idea that I got in the bathroom, but it's how you get the idea, but then you forget about it. But normally for me, I always scribble those ideas so that when I see something new, I go back to it to check, was it there? Now, so that is the most surprising thing, that everything that we do, when I go back to the Canva, it is there. Okay? So my advice to people who want to start a business, yes, money is important. But I honestly, especially if you're thinking about a scalable business, it's not money first. It is, what is the problem that is around you? How big is that problem? For example, there's a very big problem of sales and salespeople, not only in Kenya, but across, the world. So, and it is so big. And now the question is to ask, why is the pain even more? And the more we do this, the more we discover that the pain points of the entrepreneurs. Managing salespeople is not easy. And so we have decided to, let's do it for them, because it's a big problem. Now, the bigger the problem, the more the money, because that's where the money is. All right? So think about, not just thinking, observe. What are people complaining most about? Now, I'll not promise that it is easy, because the bigger the problem, of course, the more is needed from you. And most importantly, it's not the more money you need, but more of you. Your commitment. You have to immerse yourself into solving this problem. Now, that is for those who are looking for scalable business. But of course, in Kenya, we have the side hustle mentality. I'm honestly not a believer of side hustling. Every time that I've had a job, when I was a trainer, I focus on training until when, I got the burnout is when I thought I need to start selling. Okay. When I started selling insurance, life insurance, I focused on selling life insurance, and I did that for 8 good years before I resigned. Of course, I grew, through the runs. The beauty with focus is that you focus so much that you become so good in that sector. Now, when I resigned from that business, of course, I continued with insurance. So I can say I've focused on insurance for 14 years. So I can actually say that I'm an expert when it comes to insurance. And I have focused in sales for 14 years. So I am an expert in sales. All right? And that is why starting a sales consultancy business is a no-brainer, because 14 years of investment in sales is no mean achievement. So when I tell you that I can help you grow your sales from X to 2X or to 4X or even to 20X, it's because I have been there, done that, and got the results that I'm promising. Okay? So that's why I'm not a believer in side hustling. I am a believer of choose one thing, focus on it, and I will say give it a minimum of 3 to 4 years where you focus on that one thing, and you become an expert in that one thing, so that even if you go to do another thing, you will be borrowing ideas from the other thing. So you realize some of the things that we are doing with our business owners are so amazing, because you're able to borrow from insurance, you're able to borrow from other sectors. I'm a techie, I've been in the tech industry. We borrow from all different fields and bring something which you guys, or which people will call innovation. Because you see, innovation is not sitting here and thinking, what is the biggest idea that I can get? No, that's not innovation. Because there's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new you can create now. Everything that was is, all what people do, and that's what is called innovation, is basically getting ideas from different fields and combining them in a different way. If, for example, how did they come up with a plane? It was an idea of the bird flying, and I hear the other one was, what is it called? Was it a horse cart or something like that? And that became a plane. So there's nothing new under the sun. And it's unfortunate that we think that because you have an idea, you even want to hold it because it's so important, Because it's not the idea, it's the execution of that idea that actually is unique. How you execute the idea is the unique part of it. But the idea is not unique. When you get one idea, 1 million other people get the same idea in the world. So it's not new. Yeah. So this is basically, if you're working, you're employed, and you really want to do business, I would ask the following question. Why do I want to get into business? What is the problem that I want to solve? And have I given my best here? Because where you're working is an entrepreneur who has begun that business. They are paying you. Yes, you can say they're not paying you the same value that you deserve. But the question is, have you demonstrated the value that you should be giving? I am a believer that we need to change our mentality from the mentality of taking to giving. What does the Bible say about giving? It says, give and shall come back to you. Full measure, shaken together and running over. Many people interpret this in terms of, going to church and tithing and, giving material things. I see giving as a wholesome. You have this information, you have this knowledge, you have these skills. Who are you giving? Now, before you take, can you give? So, as you're thinking about starting this business, it is a very good thing to start a business. But have you given the best, everything that you have, to the opportunity that God has given you at the moment? Can you say that you have gone to the peak of your career, or rather, you've given all that you could give in that particular business? Can your employer say that, even miss you when you leave? Because if you're quitting to start business and you're not successful in your workplace, this is my opinion, honestly, you will not succeed in business. Business is harder than employment. It requires much more commitment than when you're employed. Remember, when you're employed, you're focusing in a specific area. So if you're in, say, finance, your focus is finance. You should be thinking, how do I make the company, reduce cost? How do I make the company make more money? How do I enable the salespeople to sell more so that this business can grow? If you focus on that and give that value, believe it or not, when you leave and go and start your business, it is going to be the same. You're going to be so committed, so immersed in it, and you get the results that you want. But if you're lazy where you are, just expect the same in the business. And could this be the reason why many small businesses fail? I don't know. Somebody need to research about it. My dissertation, I've been doing my MBA. Now you're wondering, how do I do all these things? I've been doing my MBA, and my dissertation, my research was based on what causes businesses to succeed. What are the factors that determine success of a business, and how, I'm forgetting the whole title, yes, but what are the factors that determine success of a business? And I did a research, and it is sad to note that majority of the businesses are actually not making money, because many people are either part-time, or you're trying to do so many businesses at the same time. So you're either employed and doing a side business, or you're doing your business, but you also have other two smaller businesses. So when you look at it by the end of the day, you still are not making the kind of money that you want to make. And I've been reflecting on this and asking, is this side hustle mentality really helpful for us as a people? And again, I say, I do not know, but it is something that we need to ask. We need to question this mentality. But my observation, even from my research, it is not working. It is not working. And they say that doing the same thing, expecting different results, is called what? It's called madness. So do we continue this madness of doing the same thing, expect different results? Can we try focus and see what it will bring forth? And I'll give you an example. So last year, 2022, we started 20X Entrepreneur. The Bismart business is still operational, but I had to elevate myself to I had to do a lot of work at Bismart so that I have people who can run the business. Okay, because they even told me in their own words that the more I stay there, the more I disorganize the business, because I am a creative. I only see the new things that we should do in the business. And so today we will agree we are moving this direction, and then I find something, a new idea on how we can do the same thing, and then they would get confused. And can I tell you something, that when I have moved out of Bismart, it is doing better, because what happens with businesses is that initially when you're beginning, you really need to be present fully, wholesome, so that you set up systems and processes that can support business when you're not there. So one of the things that I did from the beginning when I started Bismart was I started with systems. And I remember the first employee that I hired on the first day that, just before we launched Bismart. Why? Because I know that business without systems and process and people to operate the systems is no business. It's better to be employed than to run a business that fully depends on you. That's my perspective. So I had the first person and I had a whole system. So the work of the person is to ensure that, of course, the system is good. So I hired them so that I train them. So as I am working, as I'm doing, I train. I train. And that is why I say that you cannot start 3 businesses at the same time and succeed. Because the work that is required initially is so much. And you can see within 3 to 4 years, I would, comfortably say that Bismart is fully fledged company, because it has systems that people can come and continue from where they left, the others left, because there's a system, there's a process that is followed, and it can be scaled. So to do that, I think my experience was, it took me 3 years to build that system that is, consistent, that is predictable, that we know when this is done, this is the outcome. And of course, technology is key. So we have built Bismart on being enabled by technology, right? So the question is, do you want to invest time in a business? Because so long as you're employed, of course, you can still do it, but it will take you longer to build. Anyway, there are many reasons why people quit, because again, you have to look at you see, you still have a family, you still have bills to pay. And I think openness and honesty with your employer is very important, because I want to believe that you don't want to start the same business that your employer is in. Now, if it is the same, then I would rather you just walk away and start it. But if it's different, then this is where you say, look, boss, this is, and of course, by the time you do this, you need to have added so much value that your boss is actually willing to say, yes, with you, I can trust you. If you only put in 5 hours, I know you will deliver. And then the rest you can continue with your. But of course, many people will say that's a naive way of thinking, thinking that people should be honest. But is that not what we are supposed to do? Is that not what we should be? Otherwise, then we'll continue building small businesses that will never scale. So, you want to start a business? You should consider, number 1, what is the problem? What is this problem that you want to solve? Because even if you're starting a business in, the trading business, say you want to sell honey, what problem are you solving? What is the gap in the market? So ask yourself, what is the gap that my honey will fill in? What complaints have you been hearing about honey? Okay? Be very clear on the problem that you're solving, because when you are clear on this, then you have some uniqueness. And that means you're not going to start competing with others based on price, because you're bringing something that is unique. All right. Number 2, why do you want to do it? Why do you want to do the business? Is it because you've had experience in honey? Is it because you like to eat a lot of honey? What is the why? The stronger the why, the more you're going to stay in the game, because doing business requires a lot of commitment, a lot of consistency. You have to be there, do that every day. So your why will determine whether you will get to one point where you say, I don't want to wake up. But you need a strong why that will keep you waking up every day to do it. Number 3, how big is this program? Because the bigger the program, the bigger the money. There are several, there is it four levels of value addition. There's the lowest level, which is the implementer level, whereby, for example, if you go to a hotel, the cleaners, the waiters, these are implementers. That's the level of value that they add. Now you notice that at that level of value, there's so many people providing the same service, and that's why then you can't earn a lot of money, because the supply of people who can provide that thing is so high, and for you, those who have studied the law of demand and supply, it's so when the higher the supply, the lower the price. So that's why if you are earning kidogo money, is because your value addition level is at the implementation. And we still have business owners who are still earning the implementation level value. Why? Because they're the ones who are implementing your everything in the business. So business depends on you to find a client, implement, do everything for that client. So it means that you're not going to earn a lot of money when you're adding value at the implementation level. You need to grow higher, whereby the next level is the level of management or supervision, whereby now the manager or the supervisor, you're able to organize the implementers in a way that they give bigger results than when it is you doing it alone. So that's the second level of value. It's higher level, you earn more. This is where you find the C-suite executives in corporates. So that's why they earn much more than the implementers. And then you go to the third level, whereby these are the communicators, these are the sellers, the salespeople. Basically, you're just using words, you're using your skills in communication, and that's why I believe public speaking is very important. You need to learn how to influence people using, communicate to influence. You need to learn how to communicate for influence, so that you see, when you do that, what happens is that you're helping, the people at a higher value level addition, which I'm going to discuss. You're helping the supervisors, you're helping everybody to be able to make decisions to make buying decisions. Remember, a business will only make money when customers buy. So at the influence level, at the communication level, you actually earn much more, because you're the pillar, you're the lifeblood of the business. Because without you, they will not make money. And the fourth level of value is where, the innovators are. People who come up with products that, very unique, that are very, the whole world want to use. Maybe people like Bill Gates, people like James Mwangi, who decide, okay, we're going to mass market, and this is a product. People who create the products. Now, you notice that, of course, because they build systems that keep generating money, they make much more. However, they still need communicators for them to make the money. So you can see how important the communication level is. So you need to ask yourself, how big is this problem, so that and what level of value are you coming in? That will determine how much money that you can make. So those are, for me, the beginning point when you're thinking about a business. Of course, the others, like things like capital will come later. So focus on those three, and before you quit your job or before you start that next business that you want to start. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, leave a comment, share with your friends, share with your family if you have found this content useful to you. Let's keep growing one another. Let's keep helping one another, because life is about giving before you receive. See you in the next video.